Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something I think a lot of us wonder about, especially with, all the content out there. How fast can we actually listen or watch something like a lecture or a podcast and still get it? Still understand what's being said?
Right. It's a huge question. And we've got this really interesting study from the Educational Psychology Review that digs right into that. Playback speed, distractions, the works.
Exactly. It looks at speeding up audio, but also, those online lectures where maybe you've got notifications popping up. Does that mess things up?
It's super relevant. We all want to learn faster, be more efficient, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
If you're tuning in, you're probably trying to pack more knowledge in. So can we hit 1.5x, 2x speed and be okay?
Or do those little message pings completely derail our focus?
Yeah. So this study used a few different experiments. They looked at audio clips, like podcasts, and also audiovisual stuff, lectures with slides, some text, some pictures, and they even threw in computer distractions.
Yeah, simulating the real world, basically.
So our mission today really is to pull out the useful bits for you. What does the science say, and how can we actually use that to, learn better without just getting overwhelmed?
Let's get into it, starting with that first experiment.
Okay, yeah. Experiment 1 was all about audio only. So think podcasts, audiobooks.
Right. They used clips from the science podcast, one on anorexia biology, another on black hole mergers. Pretty different topics.
And they tested comprehension at normal speed, 1x, then 1.5x, 2x, and even 2.5x speed.
So pretty fast at the top end there. And what they found was, well, kind of surprising.
Yeah, get this. Cranking the speed up, even to 2.5 times, didn't significantly hurt how well people did on the tests for just audio.
I know, 2.5x. That feels like it should make a difference, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, performance at 2.5x wasn't that far off from 1x.
But there's a but, right?
There is, yeah. A crucial bit. While it wasn't statistically significant across the board, the researchers did flag a trend. Performance did start to dip, especially going past 2x. That 6% difference between 1x and 2.5x, they said it was approaching significance.
Okay, so maybe don't push it too far past 2x as a general rule. Like, the system might start to buckle a bit.
Seems like a sensible takeaway. Your brain can handle a certain amount of compression, maybe, but there's probably a limit before things start getting lost.
Right, you need some time for processing, for encoding it properly.
Makes sense. And then they layered in something else interesting. How much people were interested in the topic and how familiar they already were.
Ah, okay. And unsurprisingly.
Unsurprisingly, yeah, both helped. If you were into black holes or knew a bit about anorexia already, you generally did better on the tests.
Standard learning stuff, really. Engagement matters, prior knowledge matters.
But here's the cool twist. They found an interaction.
Oh.
The benefit you got from being familiar with the topic, it sort of decreased as the speed went up.
Interesting. So faster speed made prior knowledge less helpful.
Kind of. For the anorexia clip, which was more familiar to people, interest didn't matter quite as much for their score. But for the black holes clip, less familiar, for most being interested, gave a bigger boost, especially at higher speeds.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
If it's unfamiliar and fast, you really need that internal motivation, that interest to keep you locked in.
Exactly. So the takeaway for listeners on this part, for audio only, you might be able to speed things up maybe towards 2x without losing too much. But, be mindful. How well do you know this stuff already? How interested are you? Don't push it too far, especially if it's brand new territory.
Good advice. Okay, so that's audio. What about when visuals come into play? Experiment 2, right.
Yep, experiment 2. Here they compared audio only versus audio visual. The topics were real estate appraisals and Roman Empire history.
Right.
And they tested at just 2 speeds this time, 1x and 2x. The audio visual stuff had like presentation slides and a picture of the instructor.
And the big finding here?
Well, it backs up what a lot of learning science suggests. The audio-visual stuff led to better test scores than audio only.
Right, the multimedia principle. Using both ears and eyes helps embed the information better.
Definitely. It's like giving your brain 2 ways to grab onto the information, maybe eases the load a bit.
Makes sense. Less strain on just one processing channel. So did speed matter here?
Interestingly, not significantly within each format. So for audiovisual, 1x and 2x performance was pretty similar. Same for audio only, 1x and 2x were close.
Okay.
But, and this is important, when they compared across formats and speeds, the group listening to audio only at 2x speed, they did significantly worse than the group watching the audiovisual presentation at normal 1x speed.
Okay. So there is a cost to just speeding up audio if you don't have visuals to compensate. How big was the difference?
About 12%, roughly, which is, pretty substantial.
Yeah, that's definitely noticeable. It suggests those visuals really do help buffer against the faster audio pace.
Totally. So the takeaway seems clear. If you can, go for content with visuals, especially if you're planning to speed it up.
Good tip. Visuals help anchor the faster speech.
Okay, so visuals help. But then the researchers asked, well, what kind of visuals? That was experiment 3.
Right. Text versus pictures.
Exactly. They took the Roman Empire history lesson again. This time, everyone got audiovisual, but one group got slides with mostly text like written summaries.
Okay.
And the other group got slides with mainly pictures, maps, images, that sort of thing. Again, tested at 1x and 2x.
And did it make a difference? Text versus pictures?
A little bit, yeah. They found a slight edge for the textual slides. People did marginally better, like 2% better on average with the text summaries compared to the pictures.
Only 2%. So not a massive difference.
Not huge, no. But
Yeah.
it might suggest that seeing the key points written out while you hear them spoken helps, maybe solidifies it a bit more, especially when things are moving quickly.
Yeah, that textual reinforcement could be helpful. And what about speed in this one?
Again, no significant overall effect of speed. Whether you got text or pictures, 1x and 2x performance was similar.
Okay. Any interactions, like with interest?
Yes, there was. Similar to before, when people said they were highly interested in the Roman history topic,
Uh-huh.
those who got the textual slides actually performed better than those who got the pictorial ones.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if you're already engaged, maybe the text helps you analyze or process it more deeply than just looking at pictures.
Could be. Maybe it facilitates a more analytical engagement when you're already motivated.
So the listener takeaway here, both kinds of visuals are good, better than none,
Right.
but having some text reinforcement might give you a slight advantage, especially if it's a topic you actually find interesting. Something to maybe look for.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, one last piece. The distractions. Experiment 4.
Ah, yes, the bane of modern existence,
Mm.
those digital interruptions.
Totally. So they took the audiovisual clips, again, real estate and Roman history, and played them at 1x or 2x speed. But this time, they simulated computer distractions.
Like what? Email pop-ups.
Message alerts.
Yeah, exactly. Notifications, messages, even simulated calls appearing on screen while people were trying to watch the lecture.
Okay, and the million-dollar question. Did it wreck their comprehension?
Well, this was the other big surprise for me anyway. Turns out, no.
No,
Yeah.
really. Distractions didn't hurt performance.
Not significantly, according to their data. At either 1x or 2x speed, having those distractions pop up didn't lead to lower test scores compared to the no distraction condition.
Wow. That feels wrong, doesn't it? We always assume distractions are terrible for focus.
I know. But the researchers had some ideas why. They pointed out the distractions were, like, brief. They didn't require the person to actually do anything, just see them pop up.
So passive distractions, you didn't have to click or reply.
Exactly. And also, they weren't personally relevant, just generic things appearing. So maybe our brains are kind of good at filtering out that kind of brief, low-stakes, irrelevant interruption when we're focused. That's plausible. If it doesn't demand action or relate to you personally, maybe you can just ignore it more easily than we think.
But, and this is really important, but they were very clear. This study did not test what happens if you actively engage with the distraction.
Right. So if you actually stop watching to read the message or answer the simulated call, that's a whole different ballgame.
Completely different. That's multitasking, task switching. That almost certainly would hurt comprehension because you're actively pulling your attention away.
Okay, that makes more sense. Passive glancing notifications might be filtered, but active engagement is where the real cost lies.
Seems like it. So the takeaway here is maybe a little reassuring. Those fleeting pop-ups might not be derailing your learning quite as much as you fear, at least for this setup.
Yeah, but it's still probably best practice to minimize them, right? Just because they didn't find a significant hit here doesn't mean zero effect, or that it's a good idea.
Oh, absolutely. Minimizing distractions is always going to be better for focused work or learning. And definitely don't act on them if you can avoid it.
Good point. Okay, so let's try and pull all this together. What are the main headlines for people listening?
Okay, summing up. For audio only, like podcasts, you can probably speed up, maybe towards 2x, but watch out beyond that. Familiarity and interest really matter there.
Right. And adding visuals helps a lot. Audio visual is generally better than audio only, and it seems more robust if you speed it up.
Yep. Visuals seem to buffer the speed increase, and between visual types, text might have a tiny edge over pictures. especially if you're interested.
And finally, those passive digital distractions. Surprisingly, maybe not as catastrophic as we thought, at least in this study's conditions, but active engagement is likely still very disruptive.
Exactly. So for you, the listener trying to learn efficiently, this suggests you've got some room to play with speed, particularly with videos or lectures with slides.
Yeah, don't be afraid to experiment a little. See what feels right for you. Maybe nudge the speed up gradually on different types of content and just, check in with yourself. Are you actually following this?
For sure. And remember the context. Super complex technical stuff. Might need that 1x speed regardless of visuals.
And think about your distractions. Are they just fleeting pop-ups or things that genuinely pull you away and demand a response? That makes a difference.
Definitely. So maybe the final thought to leave folks with is this. Given what we're learning about speed, visuals, and distractions, how could we, and how could maybe educational platforms, design and consume learning material better in this, crazy information age?
That's a big question. How do we optimize for learning when there's so much coming at us so fast and with so many potential interruptions? Something to definitely think about.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for exploring this deep dive with us today.